Hey everyone, welcome to day 78 of building the flight booking engine. Sometimes you get difficulties, you get setbacks, but it shouldn't stop you from doing and achieving what you want. Actually, sometimes they say when you overcome these obstacles, that's when you actually uh, have a chance of getting successful. So, yeah, Amadeus announced their end. We're going to work with what they can give us right now. Then later, I will decide on what to do. I will simply either migrate to another platform or whatever. And actually, it made me think about something. I should have built a reusable can I call it reusable service whereby I can plug in and out anything. Okay. If I'm using Amadeus, I can plug it in and I have my API working correctly, or I can plug in Travelport and it works correctly. That's something I'm thinking about. I want to build something that helps me to plug in any endpoint, okay, for flight data, and it fetches that data and delivers it to me the way I want. Not to me actually, but to client applications. But yeah, I'm still pushing and yeah, let's wrap up this awesome project. So there's something I want to show you, which I have been doing, okay, but it's actually wrong. When I did it, I thought, I will fix this maybe in the next two streams, but I mean, it's more than 40 streams or 50 streams since that happened. So I want to fix that right now. And I want to show you that issue. So if I go to, where is this Terraform directory? If I go to Terraform and Terraform, I go to main.tf. So in main.tf, let me minimize, hide that. Okay. Of course, you see we have the provider, we have the data, we have the resource. Let me minimize all this. We have this other data block. We have a resource block. So in this resource block, okay, the number of things going on, but which are not good to do. The first thing you see is that I have a user data. Okay. Actually, it's only one thing, user data. Okay. User data, it takes in a template file, and that file is called setup.sh. Now, what does setup.sh do? It takes in a number of environment variables, okay? Like the repo URL, the GitHub, personal access token, the mail username, mail password, mail from, mail port, mail server, the access token expires, the secret key, the algorithm for signing this key, Amadeus API key, Amadeus API secret the base URL, okay? So when it takes in these environment variables, they are passed on to that actual file. Okay, this file is here. It's called setup.sh. And in setup.sh, do you know what we do? We installed Docker. Okay, like you see, we set up Docker, enable it. Okay, we clone the repository and create a .env file. By the way, there's a better way of managing secrets, which I'll share. Okay, after I think the MVP, and then it creates that secret file. Okay, that env file, and like those who have been following from the beginning, this is not the first time you're seeing this. I did this sometime back in the past, okay? And then it changes directory into the backend directory and then does a Docker compose build and minus D, meaning detached, or doing it in the background. But this has some consequences. Do you know that when we push this to GitHub for the first time, let me show you, we have a workflow, okay? That on push, when you push them to the main branch, you know what happens? We deploy infrastructure. We run the deploy infrastructure job, okay? And that job does a number of things, okay? We see that it runs, it does a checkout, okay? It accesses uh, AWS, okay? We have Terraform init, Terraform validate, okay? Then we have the environment variables, okay? Prepared all the way up to here. And then Terraform plan, then Terraform apply. But this is very bad, okay? For two main reasons. Number one, this is not actually a complete CI/CD, okay? The CI is okay, but the CD is not, it's not continuous deployment. Why? Because this user data, okay, where is it? Main.py. Okay, let me open all of them at once. This user data in Terraform.py, YAML rather, not py, but Terraform.main.tf, okay? This one here is called only once, is run once at instance creation, okay? The next time we push code to GitHub, this will not be executed again, okay? We shall not have setup.sh cloning the new updated code. Why does this happen? Because, okay, because Terraform checks to see if there's a change in the TF files. If there's no change in the TF files, then our code or our project on EC2 will not be updated. Job keep to. Long time. How are you doing? Thank you for joining today's live stream. It's been a while since Job, you've been on this live stream. Where have you been hiding? Yeah. Anyway, I'm just kidding. So let's continue. I hope now you understand that the first reason, okay, that when we push to to GitHub for the first time, this deploy infrastructure job runs, okay, and we have our setup.sh being executed, okay. Why? Because of this user data, okay. So user data will be executed after the instance has been created successfully, okay? And this user data involves us running this setup.sh file, which receives this data as environment variables, okay? It's passed to it. But that happens once, okay? So when there's no change in your Terraform configuration and you push 100 times to GitHub, okay? What will happen is that Terraform will simply check and say, oh, there's no infrastructure change, okay? Configuration has not changed. So there's no need to update the EC2 instance, okay? That's the problem, okay? Terraform is meant for creating infrastructure. Terraform is not meant for deployment, okay? I think you're starting to see. That's the first point. The second point is this. In the event, okay, that maybe any environment variable here changed, okay, Terraform is going to identify, okay, that there's a change in configuration. For example, if maybe I add down here, okay, a new secret saying maybe Facebook token or TikTok token, Terraform will see the change, okay, and will trigger a recreation of resources. Now, we don't want that to happen because you know that creating resources takes time, okay? It takes time to create several resources. So it should not be the case. Okay. So it's a very bad practice, and it is something that I don't know, I forgot. I forgot, and I should have shared this after like 2 streams after doing it. Okay. So the goal here is to make sure that when we want, for example, to add an environment variable, okay, it does not trigger a new a recreation of resources. Okay. What do I mean by recreation of resources? VPC will be created, security group recreated, okay? An EC2 instance being good. Amazon machine. We don't want that kind of stuff to happen again. Okay. So the best way to do is to separate infrastructure creation from deployment. Okay. So this user data here should be removed. Job Keeper says, have been trying to get the Discord link, but haven't found the link. Oh, sorry. I actually thought people don't want to join Discord because there was little activity. So I removed the link from the description. Okay, from the description. Just give me a moment. Let me get it for you. So Discord was not active, so I decided to let go. Just a moment. I should have it in a past. Just give me a moment. Give me a moment. Discord. An old. I'm trying to look at. Okay, copy link. So check the chat. It should be, wow, this is too much. So let me do this, okay? I am going to add it to the description of this video after the stream. But for now, Job, check the description of this video, okay? I've posted the video in the chat. Check the description of that video. You're going to see the link to Discord. So the solution to this challenge, okay, and to have real continuous deployment that every time we push to GitHub, okay, we have a job that pulls, that first of all does an SSH into our server, okay, and then clones the code, okay, and we have our project set up using Docker. For that to happen, we have to separate infrastructure creation from the actually CD process, okay. So we want continuous integration every time we push small changes to GitHub, and then those small incremental changes should be continuously deployed to AWS EC2. So I hope you get the idea. Continue as we push small changes, continuous integration to the main repository. We want each of those small changes to be pushed and updated on our EC2 instance. So I'm going to show you that, okay? Because I did it and I wanted to save really valuable time, okay? So first of all, to show you in the browser here, you see I did it, okay? So what I'm showing you this side is actually the Airbound Ventures public, okay? I did it on the private repository, okay? So the number of things which I want to do, and I think after tomorrow, I am going to share the repository with you guys, okay? I am going to share what is on the private repository on the public repository, okay? That is why you're seeing this public repository here right now does not have those changes, okay? But this new repository here, I mean, not the new repository, but private repository has now two separate jobs: deploy infrastructure and deploy application. Okay, is GitHub Workflows a better option? Better option to what? What are we comparing it to? So I'm going to show you now what happens. So I'll go to the, no, this is not it. This is not it. In fact, I can actually show you from here, okay? From the repo here. Let me go to the code and then we shall make comparisons. So when you're here and I hit press period on my, I don't know if you guys know about this, but when you hit period on your machine, you can, not on your machine, on your browser, when you're on GitHub, excuse me, it can help you this. Is GitHub, yes, job. Yeah. GitHub workflows is very easy in my opinion for CICD, and it's what I'm using right now. It's very direct. So I'm going to show you, I'll go now to Terraform, okay? So you see in this private repo, okay? Look at this. Right now, the setup.sh is not there, okay? If I go to this other repository of the public one, you see that there's a setup.sh, okay? So I've removed it. You get, it's not there, okay? And now, like I've said, I'm going to make sure that the code in the private repo matches the one in the public repo, because at least this is something that is important and I shouldn't keep it, okay? Shouldn't keep it. So now I'm going to go to the main.tf, okay? So in the main.tf, if I scroll, are you seeing, okay? Let me scroll slowly. Are you seeing there is no more, see, after getting the Amazon machine image, the instance type, and the key pair name, okay? Immediately after line 68, we go to the VPC, okay? Security groups, okay? Then the tags. There is no user data block. So if we go back to this old one, okay, the old version, are you seeing we have a user data? This one here, this user data. So that is bad. I have removed it, okay? So that infrastructure creation stays only as infrastructure creation. Now I'm going to show you something else that I did. If I open here and go to the workflow, okay, the GitHub workflow. This is what Job is telling you about, okay. So to create GitHub workflow, you have a .github directory, okay, in the root, then / another directory called workflows. Then inside there, you create .yaml files, which will be your workflows. If you missed this, check the playlist. You're going to see videos, okay? You're going to see videos, maybe the first 20, the first 10, where I talked about this in detail, okay? Now, I'm going to show you the difference, okay, in the workflow files right now. So let's go to this, okay? So you see right now, after line 11, okay, we only have one environment variable being picked. But this other side, let me see. We had so many of these things, okay? But you're going to see the difference clearly. Let me show you. So here we have one, okay? This side we have nothing. Do you see that? If I scroll, okay, now I have 3 jobs: Terraform plan, deploy, okay, I mean Terraform plan, deploy infrastructure, then deploy app, okay. If I come this side, you're going to see the jobs. The jobs are only one, okay. So you say on, after on you have jobs, and there's only one job called deploy infrastructure. That is wrong. Okay, now there's a better way of doing it. Okay, and you should apply this concept to all your projects. So now look at this. I deploy on. Let me start from Terraform plan. Terraform plan simply now checks. There's an if statement I added. Okay, if the GitHub event name is a pull request. Okay, then I simply do this. You check out. Okay, do the configuration of the AWS credentials. After that, okay, have Terraform being set up, Terraform init, Terraform validate, and Terraform plan. If you do not know what this is, or if you've forgotten, again, check this playlist, okay? There are videos and live streams where I dedicated time to going through this in detail. So I'll close that. So deploy infrastructure is very similar, but for it here, I have an if statement that checks that if the GitHub ref, okay, is main, okay, and the event name is push, okay, then you know what I do? I go through the same steps that Terraform plan does, okay, but this one now includes a Terraform apply. You get? And remember, Terraform apply will only work if there are changes to the configuration. You get? Now after that, I go to the next block, says wait for instance to be ready. Okay, it simply waits for the instance to be ready, okay, before getting the IP address. As simple as that. Okay, but actually I plan to remove it for some reason, but I'll explain it in a future live stream. Okay, I'll explain it very soon properly, but just know that I just wait for the instance to be ready before I get the IP. All right. After deploying the infrastructure, now I do the deploying of the application. Okay. Again, I have a similar if statement. If it's the main branch and the event name is push, then I prepare to deploy to EC2. What's the first thing I do? I pick the private key, okay, from the secrets on GitHub. Okay. I pick out the host. Okay. Now this host comes from the previous job. Okay. Because are you seeing this? It says needs.deploy infrastructure. Deploy infrastructure is referring to this job up here. Okay. Then it says .outputs. Okay. Outputs is referring to this section. What is that section down here? Outputs. Okay. .ec2 public IP. Okay. Understand that, guys, very, very carefully. Then, so if I continue, I scroll. Yeah, here. Okay. So you now understand that. Then of course the user by default is Ubuntu. Then I pick the access token. I pick the satbot. This satbot email, I'm going to explain it in the next stream. Okay, you're going to love it. Okay, so all other environment variables, okay, are here simply. Okay, and I pick them from GitHub. After that, okay, a number of things happen. Okay, I change permissions to the private key. Okay. Now, for this to happen, guys, you need to get a private key from your EC2 account. Don't forget that. I showed you how to do this, okay, in a number of streams in the past. If you've forgotten, you can simply do a Google search or ask AI, okay? After you've done it, you've got your private key. copy it, the whole thing from the beginning to the end, okay, and keep it in your GitHub as a environment variable. I am going to show you how to do it. Let me see. Not how to do it, but the actual key. Where is it? This one, private key. Okay. Create a key called private key and paste it there. Okay. From GitHub, download that PEM file. It will be a .pem file. Open it, extra copy that text, paste it. Okay. As the value of this environment variable called private key. Then when you're done, okay, now you can SSH into the server because we use the private key to SSH. Okay, so it says SSH minus O strict host key checking equals to no because there's no human to confirm. Because when you're trying to SSH will ask you, do you want to add this host? Okay, in this case, there's no human to answer that question. That's what I'm saying. Strict host key checking equals to no. Okay, then I'll say minus I, the private key. Okay, we have that private key, and then pass the user at host. The user is this user up here called Ubuntu. Okay, that's the default user. The host is the IP address of our EC2 virtual server. As simple as that. And one more thing I forgot to tell you, on line 135, let me go maybe the editor. I don't know how I can get the editor. I kind of feel like I just love dark mode. Okay. Close this AI guy. Okay. Okay. Close this. Close this. Okay. Now my eyes are okay here. I'm thinking now, I'm sure you're now happy with me. All right, let's continue. So now let's see this. Okay. Where are we? Where were we? We're here. Okay. So we're now done. Okay. Then I set the non-interactive to avoid prompts. I say export Debian frontend equals to non-interactive because there's no human to reply. Okay, to the prompt. So after that, I now start installing dependencies. The first dependency is Docker. Okay. So I say if not Docker. Okay. So if Docker is not there, so this is a bash if statement. Okay, if you want me to maybe to make a tutorial about the bash, but maybe I'll do it. But the concept is the same. Okay, the concept of an if statement in bash is the same as the concept of an if statement in Python, in JavaScript, in Rust, in Go, in C, in C++, in Java. Everywhere it's the same. Okay, so I'm simply saying if there is no Docker, okay, then okay, simply print a message saying echo Docker not found. So we're now installing it. Then in Linux and Unix systems, it's a good practice to do sudo apt update minus y. Okay, update everything, pull every repository on the Linux machine. Again, minus y simply says say yes to every prompt. Okay, then we install Docker. Says sudo apt-get install -y docker.io and docker compose. So we install the Docker engine, okay, and Docker compose version 2 and Git, okay, because we need to Git clone on this machine. After that, I do sudo systemctl start Docker, okay. So when Docker is installed, it is installed as a service, and systemctl is a tool on Linux machines which help us to start and stop services. So systemctl start Docker, okay. After that, we say systemctl enable Docker, okay. Then after that, we add Docker, the Ubuntu user to the Docker group, okay. Are you seeing that? We add the Ubuntu user to the Docker group. What helps us to do that is the user mod command. I explained this command, I think sometime. Okay. Let me check my notes here. I always take track of things I've explained. Let me see. Min list of live streams. Let me see. I want to pick this user mod. I can't see it, okay? But simply know that user mod is a primary command used to modify a system user's account settings, okay? So systems have users, and we can modify the account settings, okay? Minus A is simply a flag. So to put a flag, you put a minus, okay? Which is a short form for append, okay? It tells the system to add the user to the new group without removing them from their current groups. So it means if you don't put that minus A, if you leave it out, okay, and just use G alone, okay, like this, you know what happens? The user will be removed from every group they belong to, okay? So don't skip the A, okay? So A is for append. Then the G is short form for groups, okay? The G is short form for groups. And it is a flag which specifies that the following name is a supplementary group. Then Docker is simply the name of the group you are adding the user to, okay? And then finally, we want to specify the username you are modifying, okay? As simple as that. I hope that makes sense. I don't know why I'm not seeing what I want to see. I'll ignore that for now, okay? So I hope you get it. Then after that, some simple checking of permissions, okay? Sudo ID, okay? Sudo docker info, not really important, okay? I just use it for debugging just in case I need it, okay? But later I'm going to remove it actually. Then after that, we clone the repo, okay? So I check if a directory called Airbound Ventures does not exist. I mean, if it exists, okay? Then I simply have a simple print statement in shell saying the repo exists. We are now pulling the changes, okay? So if the directory Airbound Ventures exists, I cd into that directory, then I do git pull origin main. You see how simple it is, okay? Otherwise, else I have a simple print statement saying repo missing cloning. So I say I run a git clone. Remember, all this is now happening on the server, on the virtual machine, on AWS, guys. Okay. I say git clone, okay, HTTPS, okay. Then I pass the personal GitHub access token. So on GitHub, like I showed you in one of those earliest videos, okay, make sure you have a secret called GHPAT, and its value must be a classic personal access token, okay, at GitHub, okay. This is my repository, but in your case, put yours, okay. For example, like this one here is my private repo. If you try to clone it, you won't be able to clone it, okay. So if you want to do what I'm doing, use the public repo, and the link is in the description. Make sure you do it. After that, cd into Airbound Ventures. As simple as that. You see how doing a cd continuous deployment is very easy? It's not hard, okay? So what concept have I covered, okay? SSH, which is simple, get into the server, okay? Install the dependencies. In our case, we need Docker. After that, clone the repo or pull if it exists. This now the first time we shall clone. The following times, it will simply be pulling, okay? Even in fact, the second, third, and n times, okay? Apart from the first time, we shall not install Docker, okay? We only install Docker if it's not there. Meaning the second time, third time, fourth time, 10th time, 100th time, we shall skip this part of installing Docker. We shall skip this part of cloning, okay? And simply do a git pull. So after that, we cd into the backend directory. Okay, remember we have done a cd into Airbound Ventures, either here or here. Okay. Then remember here is the first time. This is second time and above. Then after that, we cd into the backend directory. Okay. Let me show you, just to remind you. I want to make sure everybody understood. You see, this Airbound Ventures directory has so many things: Terraform, shared, mobile, front end, backend. Okay, so we're now getting into this directory here. Okay, after that, using the EOF, like the here doc, I explained to you in the past. Okay, we create an env file with the following environment variables. there's a better way of handling environment variables. Okay. Maybe one time I'll share it. Okay. If you're interested, you can let me know. I can share it. Okay. But this will work perfectly. Okay. You don't have to have a system maybe like Google and Facebook. Okay. It is okay to have your system which you can manually start, manually stop. Okay. It still works fine and can still make you money. Okay. Then another note, just remind you, because I know all of you who have been following this, you are very aware about this. Okay. All these values, mail username, mail password, mail from, mail port are from the secrets on GitHub. So make sure they are there. Okay. So after creating the environment variable, you know what happens? Okay. Now we deploy. Okay. We deploy. Okay. We say if Docker compose, okay, is there. Okay. Then we say we're using Docker compose version 2. Then we say sudo Docker compose down to bring down all the servers. Okay. Then you do sudo Docker compose up minus the meaning detached, run in background, then build. We rebuild everything. Okay. Otherwise, okay, if it is not version 2, we can use the legacy Docker compose. Say sudo Docker compose down and build. Similar commands actually. Okay. Similar commands. Okay. But it's just to emphasize and let you know that if statements, if else statements are the same everywhere. Okay. Only that in bash, you see this fi in bash simply means the end of an if statement. It's like saying end if, okay, in a Django template for those who know Django. If you don't know Django, totally fine and it's okay. So I hope you now understand this, okay? So this is how you have your infrastructure created separately and you have your deployment or your continuous deployment happening separately. So by this, we now have infrastructure creation, okay? The first time infrastructure will be created. The second time, if there's no change to our Terraform file, infrastructure is not what? Affected. Okay. Only the deployment happens again and again and again and again on the same EC2 server. That's what I want to achieve. Okay. So this helps us to avoid the situation whereby you update the environment variable, and because the environment variable is in your Terraform file, Terraform sees there's a change to the configuration and is forced to recreate the resources. Creation of resources takes long, and that would be a bad practice. Okay. So, like I promised you in the beginning, this project covers so many concepts. Okay. And I'm glad I've reached a point where I can share with you as many concepts as I can. So, yeah, take this. Yeah, look at it. Read through it. If you have any question, I'll be looking out on Discord. For those who join Discord, I'll be looking out for comments on this video after that. Okay. This deploy has something I've not shown you, okay, and I've done it intentionally. I plan to have a live stream to talk about it independently, okay, because it's going to take time, but it's a very important concept, okay. You will love it, trust me, and it's one of the things I loved so much, okay, when I started learning about networking and DevOps and servers and proxies, and yeah, it's pretty nice and amazing, yeah. For those of you who don't know, I have a microservice series on this channel, okay, which has begun. So if you're interested in it, go to it. I plan this weekend to have a live stream on system design. I worked with a client in Ghana, okay, and I established their backend and finished it. Actually, I've completed 2 projects in West Africa recently, and I want to share how I designed the backend of that system. So on Saturday, if God willing, if possible, I'm going to work on that live stream. Okay, I'm going to have a live stream on that, explaining the system design, and I'll have a video on microservices. Okay, either microservices on Saturday and then the design on Sunday. Okay, yeah, but so far so good. I've enjoyed this live stream. Job, it's been long. Thank you for being active. I'm going to add the Discord link to this video description. Okay, so bye for now. Thank you all for joining, and yeah, Job, you've been an active participant. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll end this now. See you in the next live stream. Project is almost done. We shall wrap up. But I thought this was something I should share, and because I realized there are many beginners watching this, and I don't want you to have some messy stuff out there. Okay. All right. Bye for now. Thank you for learning and building with me.